everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Africa's premier sports video podcast, the Three Quarters Podcast. As usual, remember to join the conversation, jump onto the hashtag 3QP, let us know what you like on the show and what you don't like on the show. I'm Damima Duffield.
And I'm Kamuya.
You can't just start by laughing.
No, I'm just like, what they don't like, no. Anyway.
Well, any feedback is good feedback.
True, any feedback is good feedback, yeah.
So we start off by talking about the Elgon Cup. Coming up on the 22nd of June. We've got, of course, the 1:30 p.m. game, which will be Lionesses versus the Uganda Cranes, or the Lady Cranes. And then we've got the 4 o'clock game, which is the big one, Kenya Simbas versus, Uganda Cranes again. Yes. But yeah, so we have South African referee Egan Seconds coming in to ref that game. We've seen him in Kenya before, so our boys are familiar with him. I think he's definitely one of the better referees. And we've got Precious Pazani from Zimbabwe, one of the really fast-rising female referees in Africa. I think I've seen her during the Africa Gold Cup, and she's been doing a very good job. But anything you'd like to say about the preview?
I mean, first, it's the first test that's been hosted outside Nairobi. Yeah. And it's a good thing. I mean, it's something the Kenya Rugby Union, I think, put into place last year and asked various what do I call them, teams or cities to bid for, or rather towns, to bid for hosting of the test matches this year. Of course, their reason was that they want to move the game outside Nairobi, they want to spread the game. It's a good move, but also we don't need to get ahead of ourselves. We need to balance it out. And I'm really looking out to see the numbers that are going to be in Kisumu. I don't know how many people are traveling from Nairobi, but I'd like to see the uptick within the local community, because that's a true judge. Yep. That's a true meter, for lack of a better word, to know if the game has spread. If you have guys moving from Nairobi to Kisumu, it's not really a difference, because it's the same crowd that's following the game. But if you have then locals are coming for the game, then you know that the uptick is very big in Kisumu. So I'm very eager to see the work Gideon Kidenda and his team have done at his Kisumu RFC, because they're the ones who won the bid. And it should be an interesting one. Rugby is popular in Kisumu. Very many of the national team players have come to Kisumu RFC. Likes of KCB head coach Curtis Olago, Andrew Amonde, Jacob Oje,
Polo
Imbo, exactly, Kevin Keegan, the late Richard Zidindi. Sorry, very, very many guys have passed through Kisumu RFC. So Martin Owila, I must add. So it's only right that they be the first city, or first city outside Nairobi to host a test match. So I am very keen to see how, number one, the uptick, number two, the organizing, because I have heard that there have been some squabbles between Kisumu RFC and Kenya Rugby Union in terms from an organizing perspective. So I'd like to see if they finally agreed that now we're going to have a big tournament. Then, of course, I'd like to see the number of people from Nairobi who will actually travel down to Kisumu, because that shows you then the number of serious fans. Yep. Because in the more developed nations, you see people traveling miles just to watch their national team play. So I'd like to see the number of guys who travel there. So it should be an interesting one. The two games should be interesting. Okay, we'll get into the squads issue. So I mean, from an organization perspective, at least that's what I want to see. And like you say, you have some international refereeing, so the standard of rugby should be high. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, the turnout, and especially the turnout, because as you said, that will show, what type of organization, how much planning went into the tournament. That would, if you have a lot of people from Kisumu rather and its environs going to watch the game, then you know that the game has spread and it is growing. Yes. And I mean, that's your only measure.
And just to take you back, I think it was 2017, and personally, that's why I'm really attached to this tournament, is because I've seen the person behind it, put his plans in place. And 2 years ago, we were having a discussion with Kisumu RFC chairman Gideon Kidenda, and he was telling me the plans he had for Kisumu, and he was talking about, he understood that people from that area are fanatic when it comes to politics and sports. Unfortunately for sports, it's only Gor Mahia that's winning the big chunk.
Yep.
And he was trying to turn Kisumu RFC to tap into that fanaticism, to build Kisumu RFC. In fact, one of the points he used to say, I don't understand why people can be flooded in Gor Mahia t-shirts and they cannot be flooded in Kisumu RFC t-shirts. Yep. So I know merchandising was one of the things he was trying to push big time. So it's a litmus test for him because we want to see then the uptake of the game. Of course, it comes at a very good time for them. Kisumu RFC have just been promoted to Kenya Cup. There's change of guard, of course, there with Gideon now taking the helm. It's come at the right time, if you ask me. So I'd like to see. I know a couple of corporates have come in backing them. I know the county government is backing them. So I'm very eager to see what happens.
So guys, 22nd of June.
Yes.
Make your way down. I mean, it's going to be a weekend?
Yes.
Travel down, watch, travel back. Tickets a regular ticket will not cost you more than 500 bob. Yes. I mean, how many beers do you buy? Just being honest. I mean, unless you want VIP, which is 1,500, still very reasonable.
Yes.
Still very reasonable.
It is reasonable.
But yeah, let's support our boys.
Yep.
Then moving on to the provisional squads. We still got the larger squad. I'm sure it'll be trimmed down closer to the day. So we'll start off with the women's because obviously that is the first game. We've got Helena Ching, Paris Mayuka. These names, if I get them wrong, I think I'm learning new names.
Yes.
Marindani Faith, Naomi Kamunto, Millicent Opala, Victoria Gishura, Immaculate Awar, Juliet Nyambura, Evelyn Calimera, Stephanie Waithera, Anne Jerry, Irene Otieno, Imogen Hooper, Michelle Akinyi, Stacey Atieno, Knight Otuoma, Asnath Oketeth, Winnie Owino, Winfred Minor, Bernadette Alicia, Philadelphia Orlando, Celestine Masinde, Sheila Chajira, and Camilla Cynthia. Just from that squad, I see a lot of young blood coming in. A lot of the old guard, let's just, for lack of a better way to put it, have, either stopped playing rugby or just didn't make the cut. But we can also see a lot of experienced players there, the likes of Philadelphia Orlando, Celestine Masinde, who actually took a year off to do her masters. And is now back in rugby and back on the national team, so very well done to her. Then just moving on to, actually I've not finished that list. There's Grace Adiambo, Vivian Akumu, Janet Okello, Janet Owino, Anne Goretti, Agatha Jamari, Diana Owino, Sophia Ayeta, Christabel Tata, Stella Wafula, Angeline Apio, Enid Oma, Leah Njogu, or Leah Njogu, Mercy Migongo, and Veronica Wairimu. Then just so we can comment on both squads, I'll also say the men's squad. Joseph Shem, Simon Muniafu, Tyson Okoth, Elkins Musonye, Samson Onsomu, Anthony Odhiambo, Billy Omondi, Beldad Ogeta, Arcadius Kwesa, Jeff Mutuku, Mark Mutuku, Dominic Coulson, Charles Tendwa, Collins Injera, Melvin Thairu, Malcolm Onsando, Vidal Olo, Toby Frankombi, Frank Mutuku, Brian Amaitsa, Ian Jenga, Patrick Oko, Emmanuel Silungi, Joseph Odero, Ephraim Odwar, Brian Juma, George Nyambua, Johnston Mungao, Cameron Coulson, Oscar Serrano, this is a long list, Griffin Musila, Oliver Mangeni, Francis Muita, Vincent Onyala, Samuel Asati, Michael Wanjala from KCB, Peter Kilonzo, George Maranga, Michael Kimwele, good to see some youngsters in there, Jeffrey Okwach, Jacob Oje, Isaac Njoroge, another youngster, Monate Akwai, and John Okot. So what do you think of those squads rather going into Elgon Cup? You've
touched on the women, so let me focus on the men. A lot of new blood. You have very many, few of the guys there who featured for the under-20s in the Bartis Cup. They're going to be taking place, or they're going to be, or they've been in training for the Elgon Cup. It's a two-way. It's a good move, and the reason I say it's a good move is, number one, you get fresh blood, because we're coming to a point where we had a lot of our players who are on their way out. They've been in the system for a very long time, number one. Number two, and I'm looking at the Junior World Rugby Trophy later on this year, I don't think the Chippewa are going to be able to get some games under their belt. So it's good to have a couple of those guys feature for the Simbas and take some knocks when they play Uganda. That's a good side. Bad side, of course, now it's a rebuilding stage because it looks like it's very haphazard. The transition is very haphazard. We didn't plan for it. We didn't have systems, for lack of a better word, to transition our players into the national team. And so it's kind of like cut and paste. You bring in a couple of them, 20 guys, and you have a few guys who featured for the Simbas. And then you have some guys who put up their hands this season. I'm keen on seeing how this kind of Simbas team performs. We didn't really have a perfect outing last year. Primarily, again, I think because of blunders from the management, because you just don't replace a coach months to a World Cup qualifier. And the same thing has happened now. So those coaches have left, and now you've brought in a new set. So I'm very keen to see what they're going to be able to do. And then more importantly, I mean, if the 7th team has gone through what they went through this year, I can only imagine what the 15th guys have gone through. So it's while I'm rooting for them, I'm not going to be expecting too much from them, I'll be honest.
All right, well, we'll wait till the day to see how the game will go. Of course, I haven't seen the Ugandan squad, but I do hear rumors that Philip Okarachi will not be playing.
There's a possibility that he will not be playing. He's had a very long season. So there's a possibility that Philip Okarachi will not be playing. I don't know, I'm guessing, I'm not saying categorically, but it could also be that Philip Okarachi is saying, look, it's not really a challenge. I mean, who are the other guys on the other side? It could be. I'm not saying that's the case, but I think it's more to do with the fact that he's had a very long season this year.
So now we have Victoria Cup revived. We used to have Victoria Cup, and then it sort of just ended, and now it's back, and mostly because of the fact that the Rugby Africa Gold Cup was basically discontinued. And so we've got Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe playing with Kenya. And I mean, we've got the Elgon Cup fixtures for Kenya, also as Victoria Cup fixtures, but then they've been added to the Victoria Cup. But we also have we host Zim on July the 6th, and then the return leg will be on July the 20th, and then we host Zambia on July the 27th, and then the return leg will be on August the 7th, the 17th rather.
Victoria Cup. It's good to have it back. But if you ask my honest opinion, I don't think our senior team should be playing the Victoria Cup. At the level where we got into in 2016, where we were battling into the big boys, the Hong Kongs, the Germanys, when we were fighting for rank number 22, and our next thing we're looking to is going top 20. I feel, I don't know, and you'll say what you want to say, I feel like we've retrogressed. I feel like we've gone back. I know one thing that Jerome Parvert, a former Kenya Simbas head coach, was very keen on, and he used to say is that we should not be focusing on Elgon Cup. Our second team, Kenya A, should be playing Uganda. Our big boys now should be playing the big guys. Which is where we'd gotten to. So I get the feeling that we've retrogressed. It's a good tournament, all in all, but I just think that us involving our senior team in those games is not really going to help the 15th game in Kenya. I don't know what. I think the only reason I would maybe disagree slightly with you is the fact that I agree with you completely that yes, we have retrogressed. So because of that, and because we're building a new team, I think it would be good for them to get as many games as possible. So that, like, let's say Rugby Africa Gold Cup comes back next year, and we've had 0 practice games. Then, as we know, our union, if things are still the same, we'll have 1 or 2 very close to when we're supposed to play. So very little, time for people to bond, basically. So that would be one reason I would say it would be good to have, to participate in the Victoria Cup, just to get players used to each other now. So that even if, you go on a long break and you come back later, I played with this person, this is how they play. And actually, you make sense. And also it's good to gauge ourselves. And it's natural with any team. We had gotten to the point where we were very spoiled as Kenyan fans. Our team was performing very well. We had broken into the top 25 rankings. We were attracting big teams. We were attracting Hong Kong year in, year out.
Yep.
We were, Damima, at the point where we were having midweek tests.
Yep.
We were attracting Germany. Our boys were going to play in Hong Kong, in the Rugby Challenge Cup. So we had gotten to the point where we were spoiled. Now, things have not been good. There is no secret about that. Things have not been good. And as such, yes, we definitely have progressed.
Yep.
So it's good. And I think it's going to be good for a wake-up call. We've been talking about Zimbabwe for a very long time. Now we have a chance to measure up against them.
Yeah, we do. I mean, they're also rebuilding their teams.
Yes.
So it would be good for all of us to see where we are and how much work we need to do by the time we have a really big test coming up.
Yes, that's true.
Yep. Then there are talks of getting rid of Paul Murunga, better known as Pau, who is our Shuja, that is the Kenya Sevens team head coach. I know that ever since his appointment, there's been a little bit of squabble. Like, why did he get it? He wasn't the most qualified, like even in Kenya. And after, the HSBC 7th Circuit, there are talks. So on the lineup, potential lineup, or it is rumored that Innocent Simiyu, Chris Brown, who was the SNCE coach
during Mike Friday's
Mike Friday's but is now in charge of the US women's team. Nick Wakely, who's in charge of Samurai International, and Liam Middleton, who is now with Canada Sevens but was with the Cheetahs of Zimbabwe. So those are the guys looking to apparently contend. What do you think about this? I agree, to be honest. No offense to Paul Murunga, he's a fine coach, but I feel yes, he was given a lot of senior players had left the team, due to issues and pay and all of that. So he wasn't given much to work with. But I still feel like somebody else may have done better in his position.
First, I don't think Innocent Simiyu is in that list. Actually, from what I remember reading, they said Innocent Simiyu and Benjamin.
Actually, it would be tricky to approach them.
It would be tricky to approach them because of their history.
Yes.
With the board.
Yeah, with the board.
Forget about the foreigners. There's no way they're coming. Truth in the fact of the matter is that rugby is actually it's big, but it's a small circle. And they do talk.
Of course.
They do talk. Chris Brown has experienced the nonsense.
Yep.
So I am sure they're talking and they'll say, look, you'll be nuts to go there. So let's forget about it. Forget about it.
It doesn't matter if we want them, they don't want us.
They don't want us until we
not a good place to be.
Until we have stuff in order. Now, Paul Murunga, and this is what I am going to say. I'm putting on my other cap. Such cases, because this is an employment issue.
Yep.
I would actually, if I was in Paul Murunga's shoes, I would actually sue the union.
Yep, he's 1 year into his 2-year contract.
1. 2, I would be going, if they fire him, they're going to be firing him on the basis that he did not meet his KPIs, his key performance indicators. And they'll do a review and they say, okay, fine, you did not meet them, and as such, we're letting go of you. But for an employee to meet your KPIs, the employer has to put the best environment. Your environment has to be the best. And the question then comes, has his environment been the best?
As per the usual, no.
Has his environment been the best for him to achieve the results or the targets that have been set? We all know his environment hasn't been good. So, again, it goes back to what we keep on saying, blame game. We don't like to sit down and it's natural human. You don't want to sit down and take responsibility for your actions. Because the real reason why the senior players pulled out is because salaries were slashed. The union says there's no sponsors. Again, it's just domino effect. There are no sponsors because they don't want to be associated with you. So back to the initial story, that's exactly what's happening. So in this particular case, while granted many of us do feel that Paul Murunga didn't do a good job, if I was him, I would actually be making a case. For me to do a good job, I require the best environment possible. You did not give me that. So what did you expect?
I definitely agree with you on that. I mean, it's going to keep happening. It's almost like a catch-22. You need to deliver this, but for this to happen, you need this. And you're not being given this. And then it's, oh, but you didn't give me, oh, but you didn't do this. So let's see how it goes.
Same thing.
So on to the international rugby scene. Super Rugby match day 18 2019.
Yes.
That was, last match day.
Yes.
Before the quarterfinals.
Round robin, yes.
Yes. So we had Highlanders. There's some really big scores here.
Yes.
Highlanders beating Waratahs 49-12. The Rebels losing to the Chiefs 59-8. Jaguares beating Sunwolves 52-10. Hurricanes, this one was a close one, and the Blues 29 to Hurricanes, 24 to Blues. Brumbies beating the Reds 40-27. Stormers losing to Sharks, this was another close one, 9-12. And then the Bulls beating Lions 48-27. Any shockers there for you?
Not really. Just the hiding, of course. Okay, Waratahs. That was a big score.
Yeah.
That was a shocking score. But look, teams were looking for the last spots in the quarterfinals. So some of this is expected. Guys were going to be going all guns blazing. Yeah, so
that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, hey guys, today it's do or die.
It's do or die. Not really.
So we move on to the quarterfinal stage where we've got Crusaders versus Highlanders, Jaguares versus Chiefs, Hurricanes versus Bulls, and Brumbies versus Sharks.
Versus Sharks.
How do you think those will go?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 New Zealand teams in the quarterfinals of the 8 teams. That should show you who's dominant.
Yep.
But for me, the most interesting thing, or the most positive thing here, and this is what we keep on saying, Damima. Look, long-term plans. This short-term thinking we always have in Kenya. Long-term plans. The Jaguares, when they joined Super Rugby, they were the whooping boys. They were the whooping boys. Everyone used to go to Argentina to collect points. Now they're in the quarterfinals. They've been seeing the long game. 5, 6, 7 years later, they're in the quarterfinals. Congratulations to them first, but it should be an interesting matchup. Standard me, I know where I am. I'm rooting for my Crusaders, but it should be an interesting matchup. Brumbies versus Sharks should be a good game. Crusaders versus Highlanders definitely is going to be a good game. Jaguares versus Chiefs, yes. Hurricanes versus Bulls, excellent game.
So now we move on to matters football, Africa Cup of Nations. Well, the 2019 AFCON tournament basically starts on Friday, June 21st. Our first game though is against Algeria on the 30th of June. So in our pool, we're in Group C. We've got Algeria, we've got Senegal, and we've got Tanzania. So we'll go through our team and then the tournament as a whole. So on our team we have got keepers. We've got Patrick Matasi, Farouk Shikalo, and John Oyemba. Defense, we've got David Owino, Musa Mohammed, Bernard Ochieng, Joseph Okumu, Joash Onyango, Philemon Otieno, Eric Omar, Abud Omar. In the midfield, we've got Victor Wanyama, Ismail Gonzalez, Dennis Omino. Why are you?
Just move on. Just go on.
Eric, is it Johanna or Johanna?
Must be Johanna.
Francis Kanata, Paul Were, and another Johanna, Johanna Omolo. Forwards, we've got Ovela Ochieng, Ayub Timbe, Michael Olunga, John Avire, Masood Juma. So our last appearance in AFCON was in 2004. Game 1, is a must-win. Okay, first tell me what you think of that squad before we even go into tournament as a whole.
The question people have been asking is who's Ismail Gonzalez? But I'd say I'm laughing. You have someone called Gonzalez in Kenya?
I was looking at that name. I'm like, I don't know.
Sebastian Mine has had time to look at the squad. There's been a lot of noise. Jesse Were has been dropped. A lot of noise has been happening over the last few weeks. But I'm sure he sat down and he has a reason why he's chosen his team. And look, he's chosen his team. Now it's for him to deliver. And he knows what he's coming up against. And I always use the example of the 2002 World Cup. Brazil coach Luis Felipe Scolari at that time, he chose Romario. Rather, he did not choose Romario to be in his team, and it got a lot of slack in Brazil and a lot of noise. Romario, top scorer, all that nonsense. A cult hero in Brazil, and he went on to win the World Cup without Romario because he knew exactly what he needed. So they were giving Sebastian Mine a job. Yes, there's some people we want to see, but he's chosen his team. Let him flop and then we crucify him. But don't crucify him before.
So just looking at the teams, or rather the countries that are in the same pool as us, FIFA World Rankings, Senegal is at 22. We've got Algeria at 68. And then we've got Tanzania, who are now below us at 151, and we're at 105. What are our chances?
105.
Yeah.
The time used to be in the 70s. Look, Senegal and Algeria, the tough guys.
Yes.
Algeria boast the likes of Riyad Mahrez. Senegal have the likes of Sadio Mane. So, okay, we have Victor Nyama. So, but anyway, they're the ones who are going to be tough to beat. No doubt about it. If we are able to, Tanzania, I expect us to beat them.
Yes.
If we're able to get a point or win against Algeria or Senegal is going to be tough. Algeria is the person, or at least the team I would be going for. So if we can get a result against Algeria, then maybe we have a good shot of getting into the knockout rounds. If we don't, then it's just going to be like 2004. I think 2004 we were in the same pool as Senegal and Mali and Burkina Faso, and we lost 3-0 to Senegal or 3-1 to Mali. And then we beat Burkina Faso 3-0, but it didn't really matter. I mean, we were out of the tournament.
We need to get into that top 12.
Yes, we need to get into the knockout stages. So Algeria will be the game to watch. Our first game is a game to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just looking at the run-up to those games, we've had a pretty good build-up, and so have they.
Yes.
Let's not even look at Senegal. They've had a blinder of a build-up.
Yes.
So Algeria are definitely the team to beat for us in our pool.
In our pool, they are the team to beat. Yeah. And Tanzania expect us to beat them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So NBA, of course, we had the finals.
Yes.
And after the 6 rounds, Toronto Raptors coming out on top. Last game was 114 to 110. So Golden State Warriors just missing out. This is the first non-USA franchise to win the NBA championships. That's just something else. Of course, we had Kawhi Leonard as the NBA Finals MVP.
Yeah, he's the third person to win the NBA Finals MVP with a different team. The other two being Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and LeBron James. Now, 4-2, Toronto winning that series 4-2. I just get shocked. Okay, not shocked, but I really get impressed by the number of Kenyans online when you're up watching those games. And it's been the case. I mean, it's always been, especially when you get to the playoffs and conference finals and the finals, it's been the case. Toronto, Golden State Warriors, of course, will not forget that Kevin Durant was injured. He had missed about 5 weeks. He played Game 5, and then he tore his Achilles in Game 5. Will not forget the fact that Klay Thompson.
That was horrible.
He didn't play Game 3, and then in Game 5
got injured.
Game 6, he fell awkwardly and tore his ACL. But in the record books, look, at the end of the day, it will still show that Toronto won. Because number one, I'd like to point that Golden State Warriors benefited from injuries in their first championship when they took on Cleveland in 2015, when Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love got injured. I was actually just watching the parade in Toronto, and everyone who's flocked the streets of Toronto just to see the Toronto Raptors. Number one, of course, and us being Kenyans, this the issue of Masai Ujiri, half Kenyan, half Nigerian. He traded the franchise player last summer, that's DeMar DeRozan, for Kawhi Leonard for a year. There was a lot of load management with Kawhi Leonard. I think he only played like 60 regular season games, but they knew that everything was going to be for the postseason. So there was that fact about Kawhi Leonard. Number two, you fire the coach of the year in Dwayne Casey and then promote his assistant Nick Nurse, and this is what you get. So it was a gamble, and the gamble paid off. I think for them, all they wanted to do was get into the final, but they went a notch further, and you have to admire what has happened in Toronto. I mean, for the city, you've been seeing all the noise Drake has been causing. So you have to admire what has happened just for the city. So that the NBA Finals, at least for me, and I think because I was getting tired of Golden State Warriors dominance, it made me get interested again in watching the game.
And just before we jump into the bonus segment, of course, there is the Anthony Davis trade where Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Josh Hart and 3 first-round picks were traded basically to from LA Lakers to the New Orleans Pelicans.
So just to explain to our guys, I actually found out yesterday, because we are a football watching country, we know money. That's how the transfers happen.
Yep.
But in the States, it's normally trades.
Yep.
Rarely do you have money involved. It's more to do with such stuff. So you trade one player. So, like for example, in this case, New Orleans, the Pelicans. Pelicans.
Yeah, let's leave it at the Pelicans.
Traded Anthony Davis, who is an all-star.
Yep.
And for that, they got 3 players. You got Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart. But more importantly, they get 3 first-round picks, draft picks. Now, people will know, or I'm hoping our viewers know, that the selection for the players normally happens through a draft, and they're normally 2 rounds for the NBA. So by first rounds, that's where all the stars go in the first round. So this means that for 2019, 2020, 2021, all of LA's first round picks are going to New Orleans Pelicans. What does this trade do? All of a sudden now the LA Lakers are the favorites to win the 2020 NBA championship, having LeBron James and Anthony Davis. My only problem is while you have 2 stars, the other 3 spots don't seem to be filled. Kyle Kuzma is still there, but then who's going to be pushing at point guard, who's going to be a shooting guard, who's going to be on the bench? I think that's a big problem, and that's what Rob Pelinka and the front office in Los Angeles need to do if they're to have a roster that's going to win the championship next year.
So just jumping into the bonus segment before we finish, and we're still on basketball. So with the Toronto Raptors winning the NBA 2019, obviously, what impact will this have on the game of basketball, basically? For me, I think it's going to be a long-lasting impact in Canada. I mean, everyone wants to be associated with a winner. This is something that people will talk about for years. The number of people that will decide to play basketball as opposed to hockey, as opposed to football, as opposed to anything else, will definitely grow. The excitement in the game. People are like, oh my gosh, all this buzz, I want to be a part of it. So I think it's definitely something that will be long-lasting and help with the growth of basketball in Canada.
And by the way, you must add that basketball was actually invented by a Canadian, Dr. James Naismith. So yes, there's that, what you've said. Number 2, and this is the thing I love the most about basketball, is that unlike other sports where you have dominant teams, basketball, every team has its time. Okay, there are guys like Milwaukee, Memphis, Minnesota Timberwolves, who you'll never hear of. But look, they have a shot, because Toronto Raptors, they've been in existence for 25 years or thereabouts, and this is the first time they're getting to the NBA Finals, and it's the first time that they're winning. So for basketball, I think it's a positive. It's definitely a positive on the game. The way I want to look at it is from players outside the US. If you look at that team, you had 3 guys: Marc Gasol at center, you had Pascal Siakam, and you had Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka and Pascal Siakam, of course, are from Africa. Marc Gasol is from Barcelona. The impact that basketball then starts to have on countries outside the US. And Masai Ujiri has been doing that a lot. I mean, by the time you got Pascal Siakam, he discovered the game at 15 years. He was just from a northern town in Cameroon, and he discovered basketball. You have the Basketball Without Borders. You have now the Basketball Africa League coming into play. So people outside the US seeing what has happened in Toronto, and seeing the fact that there are guys who actually got the chance to play for the Toronto Raptors, and guys outside the US, I think it's going to have a very good effect for basketball outside the US. So it's definitely going to be bigger outside the US, and it's going to be in the US. For me personally, it just makes the game more interesting, because I hate calling a final before the season has started. It's pretty boring. So it just makes the game a bit more interesting.
Definitely. Guys, anyone who watched that final, I'm sure a lot of people watched the series of finals up till the last game. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you expected them to win. Tell us if you didn't. Remember, you can find us on social media. That is by following us on Instagram, liking our page on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. I'm Damima Duffield.
And I'm Naro Kamuya.
Remember, we are exclusively on YouTube. So subscribe, share, like, comment. See you.
Yeah.